Hi, this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Our devotion for today, March 14th, 2023, is from the book of Romans, chapter 4, verses 13 through 17. For the promise to Abraham and his offspring that he would be heir of the world did not come through the law, but through the righteousness of faith. For if it is the adherents of the law who are to be the heirs, faith is null and the promise is void. For the law brings wrath, but where there is no law, there is no transgression. That is why it depends on faith, in order that the promise may rest on grace and be guaranteed to all his offspring, not only to the adherents of the law, but also to the one who shares the faith of Abraham, who is the father of us all. As it is written, I have made you the father of many nations, in the presence of the God in whom he believed, who gives life to the dead and calls into existence the things that do not exist. Our devotion today, in our devotion for today, Paul is writing to the believers in Rome, and he is explaining why righteousness comes from faith and not by the law. Paul points to Abraham, the acknowledged father of Jews and Gentiles, many nations. Abraham did not have the law of Moses to live by or live under. Yet Scripture tells us that because Abraham believed in God and obeyed God, signs of his faith in God, Abraham's belief, his faith, was credited as righteousness by God. It is therefore important to realize that the crediting of righteousness to Abraham by God is an act of grace by God. This being the case, the promises made by God to Abraham that he would be the father of many nations and that his offspring would be as numerous as the stars in the sky, come to him by grace as well. In addition, in verse 17, Paul reminds the Romans that this God of Abraham also gives life to the dead and calls into existence the things that do not exist. References to resurrection and creation. So while Abraham lives eternally with God who raises the dead, he also lives continually in the hearts of the people of many nations who call him Father Abraham. And while God created the heavens and the earth out of nothing, he also brings into being nations that did not exist before, but do so now because of Abraham. So what are we to take from this devotion today? That the God who raises the dead, who creates out of nothing, credits faith to those who believe, not to those who adhere to the law. We who believe in Jesus do so out of faith in him, and this is credited as righteousness to us by God the Father, who sent Jesus into the world. You and I are declared righteous because of our faith, not because of any works of the law. Go in peace. Serve the Lord.